Didn't do wrong. You've only done right by me. Well, thank you so much. And it always takes a degree of trust to bring somebody into the things that we create in our communities. So, Angela, thanks for trusting me and bringing me in, and to everyone else that I'm meeting. Hello, I'm so excited to meet you. And my work is really rooted in one core belief, which is belonging from anything other than who you are isn't worth it. And I really feel that truth over and over and over again is the way that we find our way through our lives, is turning to that when we feel stuck or trapped. And I do this in two ways. I do it as a poet, and I do it as a coach. And my poetry is really sneaky, so a lot of you will probably cry today. Just get ready for that, because I use poetry as a secret weapon for change and transformation. So you all think that you're going to be writing some poems, but you'll probably be crying. And Yeah, I just got back from teaching a talk called "How I Use Poetry as a Secret Weapon for Change." And kind of like Angelo was speaking about, Gabor Mate was actually speaking at this conference that I was at, for those of you that know his work, The Myth of Normal. And it was an AI tech conference. So we were kind of these different flavors of gelato, which was fun. But one of the things that I started with there, which I'm going to start today's workshop with, is I've been writing poems since I was in grade 3. I've been writing poems for a very long time, and I'm very aware that there is a healing and a transformational quality to writing something really honest. And I don't write like Shakespeare. I'm not writing in abstract sentences where you're unsure what I'm talking about. It's very direct and clear. And I feel like that's the safest communication, as well as like we actually know what someone's saying. And so my poetry is very honest. And I've also been using it for a long time as a way to create cultural movements and change, and as activism. So I believe that poetry is a way that we can transform our own pain, but also transform the world's pain into change. And so the poem that I wrote, this is for the women who don't give a fuck. I give all the fucks, by the way. It's not a very good brand in many ways, but I was just so frustrated with being told what a woman should be. And I wanted women to give themselves space to be whatever they wanted, and to put themselves on the menu, so to speak, as whatever they were. And I didn't know this at the time, I just wrote it for me. One of the things that I teach, and one of the things that we're going to be talking about today, is that I believe that the job of the artist is 50%, which is to write like you're on the moon and no one will ever read it. And I think the other 50% of art is the audience. And when you hit publish, send, this goes for any type of art as well, not just poetry, you're done. And then art belongs to the world. And we don't actually control how art does, how it's received. People, as you know, are often experiencing art and everything as they experience themselves. Depending on the lens of who they are is what they will hear. A lot of artists go into suffering over wanting to be understood, and we're not supposed to be understood. We're supposed to write like we're on the moon, pretend that there is no audience, write with such truth and honesty, whatever it is that we need. And while we think that it's just our story, very often 3 people away, 2 people away from you, there will be somebody else who's lived remnants of the same story. So when we write our story with deep honesty, I believe that we write the world's story. And the things that I've written that have gone viral are because I'm touching into a vein of truth that belongs to more than me. But I don't think we go here if we think about the world and what the world wants to hear and what's going to do well. It's about listening to what's inside of us. So I want to, I've always thought that activism is to feel the pain of the world and to funnel it into change. And I think that poetry is a way to take our pain and our experiences, and we don't process joy. Many of us process pain. When we're in joy, we're just in joy. When we're writing, many times we're moving through some process, or maybe some of you write in joy, maybe I'm wrong, but lots of love songs and art exists through heartbreak or grief. So I love poetry. Poetry is the coolest thing I've ever done. I am really excited to lead today's workshop. I had a guy at this conference come up to me afterwards and just go, I just had a breakthrough. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I was looking around. He's like, I thought it was the tech conference, you know? So that's great. I was like, there's like robot dogs walking around. So my hope is that, we go in with no expectations, but that you connect deeper with a part of yourself, because I think the world gets better when we're honest and when we do those pieces. And before we walk in, I know I did this poem, Angelo, in the interview, but because your group is called the Sacred Inclusion and the word inclusion is there, for some reason I wanted to read this poem again today. So I think I'm going to read it. I think probably we share a value of inclusivity in wanting, I'm making an assumption that maybe that's a part of it, of like, hey, there should be an inclusion in our world. And I think that's one of the things that me and Angelo both share. And I wrote this poem, probably, I think about a month and a half ago. I just returned from swimming with humpback whales, and it really, really radically impacted me in a way that I was not expecting. And as I was processing my trip, I wrote this. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to read you a couple of poems, and then we're going to write some poems together, and we're going to share some poems. And I believe that as a facilitator or a teacher, that integrity is going first. So if I'm going to ask you to reach inside of yourself and be vulnerable, then damn straight, I better reach inside of myself and get vulnerable first so that you feel open and willing to do so. So I wrote this poem because I was kind of crashing out on, as a very big empath, I've been crashing out on the world a little bit. And I think being people who care a lot can be hard when there's so much going on. So there's no title for this, unsure yet, but hopefully I can read my own writing. Do you know what it's like to own a heart that feels responsible for the whole world? A love that at its core believes that every person, animal, is deserving of everything. Care, consideration, respect, opportunity, safety, enough food to eat. I care about a 3-year-old falling asleep 200,000 miles away who did not get enough to eat today. And I care about the orange and white street dog falling asleep hungry in Zimbabwe. And I care about the orcas, the 72 southern residents that travel between northern Canada and California, quietly going extinct. My heart is inclusive to everything, and I never chose that. It's a big net to have. Because our world isn't inclusive or fair. It's unjust, and we still haven't learned how to harness and honor our power, like the 60,000-pound mother humpback who 2 feet away from me slowly, gently swims by. Such enormous creatures with power and might, choosing to be gentle. Could our leaders choose to be a little more gentle? We don't need more grandmother trees cut down for timber. We need to get on our knees and ask them for the secrets that we need before we are all gone. I'm not impressed that you have a robot dog or an AI girlfriend, or that we've landed on the moon. I'll be impressed when we as humans finally remember that leadership is to take care of our people, take care of this earth and all her inhabitants. I'll be impressed when we choose the kookaberries over drilling for oil, and when we finally understand that water is wealth and that there is no I in we. so that's what's on my heart right now. I'm going to read you a different poem that I wrote a long time ago, but what I believe that poetry is just honesty. And I think my invitation for you today is I don't think we can fuck anything up with honesty. I think that honesty is the key to intimacy. I think if you feel disconnected in your marriage, Gay Hendricks always says that sex problems are honesty problems. And I think that connection requires honesty. And writing art, being honest, connects us to ourselves, and it really connects us to people around us to know what's going on in our inner world inside. So your invitation today is going to be honesty through the form of poetry. And I'm going to do one more poem before I turn to you and have you guys write a prompt. And one other thing I just want to say is that I wrote this poem when I think I was around 23. I'm 36, quite a while ago. But I went on this journey to find and meet my birth father for the first time. My parents met in like an Osho ashram in India. I have a quite interesting origin story. And I went on this journey following all these clues, and I ended up finding him in this village of 60 people living with no electricity, getting his water from the mountains, growing his food. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done to go on that journey. And this poem is written from a conversation that we had when we were repairing and creating relationship. So I'm going to lead with this, and I want to invite you also. You can keep your eyes open if you want to, or if it feels good, you can also close your eyes if you want. I think that there's a feeling to art and to poetry, and like there's a sensory feeling as well as we can be lit up. And I know I've got this cool surfboard and my hair looks really cool, so you might want to have your eyes be open. But you're welcome to close your eyes if you want to tune in, and also an invitation to just like hear the words as I go through this. Nice to connect to that place as well. We sit in a cafe in the dry mountains of southern Crete. It is one of two cafes in my father's village. A village of 60 people, 75 in the summer. We slowly drink Greek coffees, brown and thick, the kind that puts hair on your tongue. It is windy and the ocean is wild, and I feel the question inside of me. It has been there, humming in the ear of my brain. It's a big question, a scary question, and one that I have wanted to know my entire life. I stir my coffee. It doesn't feel the time in this little cafe with Greeks vacationing, drinking green beer with a red A on it. Kids screaming as they throw themselves into the sea that is in a craze. But when will it be the time? It will never be the time for this question. My voice breaks the air with a courage I'm still not sure that I own. Did you ever receive the photograph of me as a baby that my mother sent after I was born? Yes, I remember reading the letter and holding the photo of you, and in this moment, I felt like father. Why didn't you write back? Why didn't you come find me? Why didn't you choose to raise me? He sits with his large brown and gray beard and thinks, I don't know. Your sister Daphne had just been born, and I felt like it was too far to raise another child in the Yukon in Canada. The distance was too great. I speak my anger and my hurt, the deficit inside that his absence left. Even though I am here, there is a part of me that doesn't understand why he didn't write back, why he didn't come looking for me, why he let go of the fragile string that was all that held us together. How could he not wonder? Bring a child onto this earth and be satisfied to simply not know. Just because the relationship with my mother was finished didn't mean that I was finished. I have carried this hurt and it is very large. It manifests in the many men I choose, the unavailable ones. Ah, he says, this is me in them. Yeah, I reply. He reaches over the table and takes my hands, and the tears well. This is not yours, he says. This part of you that is hurt, it is mine, and it belongs to me. You have made it about you, but it wasn't about you. Give it to me, Janne, he says. It is mine, and it will be easier to do it here than when you are in Canada or California. He takes my hands and reaches his palms out, asking to receive it. When people ask me how many kids I have, I always said 4. He had 3 with another woman. I cry. I like that I was counted. He holds both my hands and stares into me with his soft brown eyes. Please forgive me. Forgive me, forgive me. Do you want me to get on the earth on my knees and beg? I will. No, I say. He gets on his knees anyway, holds both my arms and turns towards me and says it again. Please forgive me, Janne. Please forgive me. And he reaches inside of me to take it out. So we're going to go right into it. I would like for you now to paper, pen, however you're going to do this thing, note section of your phone, get your tools. We're going to do some writing. And when you write this poem, I want you to write as if you are on the moon and no one will ever read it. And truly, like, don't hold back. Like, if you're not doing it here, where are we doing it? You know, why are we like, let it out? Like, it's just inside of your body and your psyche and your heart. And even if you pretend that it's not there, it's there. So that being said, I want you to write a poem as if you're on the moon and no one will ever read it. And the prompt, which I'm happy to put in the chat box for you, is I'd like you to write a poem from a moment in your life that brought you to your knees. And we're going to take some time here, like some true time. Like, I think we actually might take like 10 minutes, Angela, if that's okay. I'm going to give us
Sure.
yeah, like a good space, and I'll do a check-in if we need more time. So we're going to write a poem from a moment in our life that took us to our knees. Oh, and real quick, for those of you who've never written a poem, has anyone here never written a poem or who's like, Yana, how do I write a poem? Or do we all know how to write a poem? Sort of. Okay, what I'll do is I'll share my screen to my poem for a minute if I can. No, I can't. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yep.
So if you've never written a poem, right, that was part of the agenda, real quick for everybody. The great news about poetry is there's actually no rules. You really can't do it wrong. So I'll show you how my poem is spaced right now. You could write one big paragraph that's kind of a prose type, like Kerouac would write these big run-on sentences. If you want to write it all in one paragraph, go for it. If you want to write 4 words, like a little, like 3 lines, that's called a haiku. I have a little poem that says, like, please forgive me. I have held everything but myself. Like, that's like a little short haiku. But traditionally, when you're writing a poem, I want you to think of when you do a line break, it's a breath, it's a pause. So where you're breaking a poem, you're having people take a pause. If you really want them to feel something, or if you write something, you can repeat it a couple of times. That's a way to have people really feel those things. But doing a stanza break, repeating certain lines, I don't know. I just kind of intuitively just you just kind of feel when a line is over and you go to the next one, but I'll just share kind of how you guys can see where I structure my so it's kind of just like short little lines here. Um, So not a huge science. I really don't think you can do it wrong. Don't get in your head about the left brain logistics or perfectionism of formatting. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you let it out. So if it's a big page and there's no stanza breaks, that's okay. But when I write, it's kind of like I'm talking in this moment. Like there's like it's kind of little breaks and hesitations as well. And I don't think I actually repeat very much inside of this one, but yeah, any questions from anybody before we go? I have confidence that you guys can do this. We're good? Okay. So the prompt again is to write like you're on the moon and no one will ever read it. And the actual prompt, I'll put it in our chat box, is I want you to write a poem from a moment in your life that brought you to your knees. You can write fiction, which is, or nonfiction, real life, abstract, whatever, however it comes out of you. Probably, I'm a nonfiction writer, so I would always like encourage, sometimes fiction just becomes truth that we're afraid to say, so we make it really abstract. So challenging yourself as well to just be as honest as possible, and whatever form that comes out is great. And we're going to take like probably 10 minutes and I'll do a little check-in to see where we're at then. And if anyone is stuck, just don't unmute yourself, just put it in the chat box and I can support. So this is the part of the workshop where it goes one of two ways. I know I told you to write like you're on the moon and no one will ever read it, and you are welcome to keep your poem to yourself. And I feel like it either goes one way or another in this workshop where nobody wants to share. They're like, no, Janne, I really did it. And you said to write like we're on the moon. So like, fuck off. Should be blank. And then other times people are like, no, it feels really good to share. And you don't have to. I think that there's a giving in poetry, and the giving is this generosity that, again, the most painful moments that we feel so incredibly isolated in are oftentimes such big shared experiences. One of the very first real things that I wrote as a writer, not a poet, was around my experience within having an abortion. And so I've been sharing very vulnerable things with the world for 12 years, for a long time. And I think that it just creates more connection and makes people feel less alone. So we receive something from being honest with ourselves, and we also receive something by having the courage sometimes to share that with other people. And you are absolutely welcome to keep whatever you wrote for yourself. But at the same time, if any part of you would like to share, and that feels courageous and vulnerable and good, I oftentimes will then leave space for some sharing of our poems. And depending on the group, either everybody wants to share or no one wants to share. So we're going to figure out real quick where we are. So if anybody would like to share, feel free to either put in the chat box or raise your hand or unmute yourself. And confidentiality, non-disclosure, what creates a safe space is that this is confidential, and that, my poem, I don't care. I don't have any secrets. So all of that's on the internet. But if Bill Kelly reads his poem today, confidentiality means that you don't go and be like, Bill Kelly shared this poem. So that's not happening. We're all sworn in. This is a place of secrets. That's what creates safety. So you didn't sign an agreement, but this is your agreement with me that being a writer, part of being a writer is sensitivity rather than censorship. So changing enough details and information that somebody couldn't identify Bill Kelly, where yeah, they're not going to know where to single you out, Bill. Cool. All right. It's cool. Let's start with Ruby. I think Ken's in the bathroom. He might be back, but Ruby, you want to go first?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everybody give a little round of applause. And it's hard to go first. I actually went first. You're going second, but
Yeah, that's true.
and where are you too? Let me see. I've
I
got
am in whoops. So I am in out in the country in
oh, there you are.
North
Okay.
Carolina. Oh, where am I? I thought you
I
meant
was looking for your yeah, but no, also that.
Yep.
Keep going. Sorry, I was looking for your video.
I'm in North Carolina.
Nice. Angelo, can we bring Ruby forward, or if you make me co-host, I can pin both of us, or Ian, I think
I think
you're
you're
our
our
guy.
co-host.
Yeah, I would love, am I a co-host? I was like, I
Yeah.
want to make you bring, there we are. I was like, yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, look at this hair and these trees. You're beautiful. Nice to see you. We wanted to see you.
Oh, thank you. I will not be able to read this without crying.
Well, I don't trust people who don't cry,
So,
so it's okay. Um, so
no,
we're here, we're cheering for you, and feel free to take breaks and let the emotions flow if they do.
and I also may have a hard time reading my handwriting
Same,
because I
same.
kind of chicken scrawled it. But there is an ending. Yeah, that like an ending, but then I do need to give a little note at the end of it of what happened ultimately.
Yeah.
Okay, my world collapsed. I collapsed, driven home from the hospital. I was so weak, I couldn't stand, still bleeding. You were in the NICU, neonatal intensive care unit, just born not many hours ago. I couldn't understand why the shops on Westcott Street were still standing. Hadn't a bomb gone off? It's my fault. Didn't you know you were in labor? No, I replied. Until you until you were almost born, ripping through me. A big healthy boy, but it was too fast. You blasted through me and swallowed your first shit, which went into your lungs. Another baby boy born in the hospital died from his lungs being over resuscitated. It's still your fault. It's still your fault. I pump my milk. I can do that, not understanding why my vagina is so painful. Why? What happened? You need to be positive, I'm told. I'm in total devastation. Positive, you say? I can't speak. I'm beyond numb. I can't see anyone, the friends who want to comfort. But my mother, she cares for me. She has lost two sons. Oh, but I want to say my son is 38. He's a fitness total maniac. He's a combat veteran. He's a volunteer firefighter, nationally recognized. He's a father of four fantastic kids. He's got a great job in a nuclear power station he loves to do. He's amazing. And he sent me two bunches, big bouquets of flowers for Mother's Day.
So
But
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
yeah, he survived.
Well, you had me completely goosebumped and crying. I was like, oh, yeah, on the other end, I didn't think that. I mean, that's a thank you, Ruby. That was, I think that was more honest than my poem. Yeah, that was really visceral. Do you write poetry?
Um, Not for a long time.
But you do.
A little bit here and there. A few
Oh
things.
yeah. Yeah, you're a poet. That was really I feel like good poetry is visceral, and that was really visceral. Thank you so much for bringing us in there with you.
Yeah,
And mhm.
it was about 3 weeks. We didn't know if he was going to live or not, or if he lived, what shape he'd be in, totally brain damaged, and it was a miracle, you know. So,
Yeah, yeah. So amazing. And firefighters are so like altruistic. They're such beautiful humpback whales they get called sometimes like the firefighters of the ocean because they will save species that are not their own to a degree that can be like self-sacrificing. So I love that you have a son that is a firefighter, and I love that he fought through that hard part of his life and now gets to help other people in hard moments of their life. And yeah, that was like earth-shatteringly beautiful.
oh my,
Like
oh my God.
just really astoundingly beautiful.
Oh my God.
No, that was so good. Please keep writing. And that was yeah.
Thank you for this key to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for going first, everybody. A little round of applause because it's really hard to go first because no one else has gone. And yeah, Ruby, just absolutely gorgeous. And I know we've got Angelo's saying I'll go, and then we've got Ken. Um, Ian, are you our pinner? Are you the pinner? No? Or are we? I was like, I don't know who's pinning. Let's bring.
Yes, yes, I will pin. I
Thank you,
can
Ruby. Thank you
find
so
where we
much.
are.
That was like
Thank
so.
you.
I'm at the bottom of the ocean right now. We just got super deep. I'm just gonna stay here, at the bottom, looking up at the small talk conversations that we're all gonna have when we walk into the world about how our Saturday is. So thanks for the depth, Ruby.
You said Angelo and then Ken?
I think Ken was
Or
actually
Ken?
first.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna
Ken
honor our
first.
yeah
Cool,
Ken.
cool, cool, cool. There you go, Sir
Hey
Ken.
Ken.
Hi. Can I just give a brief introductory statement before I read it?
Absolutely.
Say something about what it is. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to say two things. One, I just free wrote. I didn't I didn't have a topic. I took the prompt, but I just went straight to wherever my mind went. So it's not, you know, a story like that's cohesive. And and what I wrote, I'm just going to say, doesn't have a happy ending, so it's dark. So
That's okay. We can
uh,
go there.
there
Yeah.
may be a happy ending, but I didn't write it. It didn't. So in other words, there may be a happy ending in life in my life, but I didn't get to that part in my writing. So it's dark.
Thanks. Thanks, Ken.
Okay. Um, my parents screwed me and left me fucked high and dry. My mom had sex with me when I was less than 2 and scared me, so I thought I would die. I was less than 2, so I had only raw emotion of phenomenal fear that made me fear dying, yet almost want to die. I thought that dying was my best escape, so I still think of dying now to get me out of here, even 65 years later. I survived by grit and determination, yet part of me still wants to die. I want to die now. Get this over with. Finally be done. Free. Myself. Free. Done. And over the rainbow bridge to freedom. So I have always wanted to be free, to be myself and not crippled with fear, not crushed with the parents who felt to me like they wanted to kill me. So in fact, I could please them and be a good boy just by finishing myself off and being dead. If everyone wanted to kill me, it would be unanimous if I joined them in sharing that wish. If I wanted to live, however, I would be alone. So they did not seem to want me to live. Dad was so absent, he left me to the female wolves, mom and sister. He only started paying attention to me after the damage was done, after I was already broken and just living to survive, to try not to die on my own, struggling to survive each moment and each day. Survive, exclamation point. Struggle, exclamation point. Die, exclamation point. Don't live, exclamation point. Be dead. It's over, exclamation point. Freedom. I'm free in heaven. No chains, exclamation point. I know I'll be happy there. It makes perfect sense. Why do I have to keep surviving here? That's it.
Oh,
Thanks, Ken. You got the vulnerability chicken shits going through your skin from sharing it out loud? How you feeling?
A little bit. I had to go into my, like trained lawyer, professional mind, shut off, compartmentalize, shut off my humanity to read it. I had to shut off everything else and just be the role of a reader. So I shut down emotionally.
We know you
I mean, I
have,
knew what I was reading, and it
yeah,
is emotional, but I went into that mode where you function outside of everything you're feeling.
yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Thanks for, well, I know many of us understand how compartmentalized. So that, yeah, that's a life that has a lot of, I mean, you had trauma quite young, and thanks for sharing that. I think like with everything going on in the world, like child trafficking, human trafficking, and all of those different pieces, I think it's a conversation front and center in the world today. So, thanks for your courage and your openness. And one of the things that when you were speaking, I don't know if are you familiar with Louise Hay's work before? A little
I
bit.
used to have one of her books back in the old days.
Yeah, so she talks about she actually lived in Encinitas. I really like her. I have her book on my desk, and she talks about depression. I mean, just to be very clear, so that's trauma, which you're a lawyer and you're an intellect and you're smart, and for everybody else here as well, just like taking a little breath as well to like move your body and your shoulders. And when Louise Hay talks about depression, feeling like is the emotional cause behind depression is that we feel like we're trapped. So it doesn't feel like there's any exits on the highway. We just feel trapped in our lives. And sometimes when we've had an origin story of trauma or certain pieces, we're moving 85% from our subconscious mind and about 15% from our conscious mind. And there can be this part of us that just can feel trapped in how we're feeling, can feel trapped in the parts of us that haven't healed or integrated or moved on or processed parts of our story. And she talks about suicide as one step past being depressed, which is we forget that there are exits on the highway and choices, and we just feel like life is black or white. So it's like live or die. There's not a lot any more choices anymore. It's just it gets to that place where I'm in so much pain. The choices here are to live or to die. And when she talks about healing, I'm actually going to pull up her book for a second. This is I grew up with this. My mom would always be like, what does Louise say? So I'm going to go to her book for a minute and just take a read on the thought pattern that she talks about. So probable cause is seeing life only in black and white, refusal to see another way out. And the new thought pattern is I live in the totality of possibilities. There is always another way, and I am safe. So then my next question, Ken, not as a, I'm not a therapist, I don't have a degree as a psychologist, is do you have somebody that you've been working with around the suicidal pieces and the depression pieces at present?
Yeah. Ironically, my therapist of 37 years that we've been together continuously, now has pancreatic cancer. So the issue of death comes back into the equation after the 37 years. As of this year, it's 37 years. Comes back. She's older than me. Not that age really matters, but she has this diagnosis. So it brings the issue of death into the equation with regard to her cancer situation.
Right. Yeah. Um, I have two people in my life who are incredible, and one of them is she's a psychologist, but she's also a shamanic teacher, and she is specifically somebody who works with suicide and depression, like pretty deeply, and she's got a pretty good track record for supporting people. And I know when you've been dealing with depression or suicide, you're like, don't give me another fucking solution because I've been dealing with this for so long, and it never feels like it changes or shifts, but resources are so important. So her name is Rayanne Woodschatz, and she's based in Edmonton, and she does like versions of landmarks, sort of. There's like she's a company called Integrity Seminars. But she my story, I felt pretty depressed 12 years ago. I was bartending and serving, and I just found my dad, and a lot of stuff surfaced, and I found Rayanne, and she was actually the first person I worked with to realize healing different pieces and shifting different parts of my life. And yeah, so I just want to take a moment. And then also, I have an incredible pattern breaking psychologist based in Solana Beach called Larry Laveman. And he's like in his 70s. He's a New Yorker. He wrote a book called Modern Day Mysticism, and he'll say it to you straight. He's very, very different than Rayanne. And is helpful, but I know that like I'm kind of shifting into like a little bit of like coach pieces, but it doesn't feel emotionally attuned to just be like, thanks, Ken, we're gonna move on to the next person. So thanks for letting me share those two pieces. And yeah, I just feel like that's like a lot. That's a lot of different pieces over time. And I I think that yeah, I'd be curious. I'd be curious if either of those people could also be a support in um, sometimes our childhood is so deeply moving in that subconscious space of our 85% that it's like, yeah, the 2-year-old that was sexually abused doesn't want to fucking be here because the world wasn't safe because your family was the world, right? So no, that part of you is like, I want out, not just disassociate from my body because this is so painful, but like get the fuck out of living. That makes sense as a trauma response and a survival pattern. But remembering that you're not two anymore, and you're however old you are, you don't have to tell me, and that it is actually safe now to exist in the world and to be here and to source joy and to connect with people, and that hopefully we're really far away from anybody who created harm and any relationships of people who were abusive, and that now at this time it's a different space, but it's getting out of the part of us that can revert back to this 2-year-old or this, I've had an experience where I was like in a space and it wasn't sexual abuse, but I was exposed to something and I went up out of my body and disassociated because it was too much, right? So suicide of like, I just want to end my life so I can go up to heaven. Number one, there might not be another life to live, and there may not even be a heaven, and it may not even be good up there. We don't even know, right, Ken? There could be nothing. We don't know what happens next. And you sure can know what's next here. And my hope is that there's support and healing. And as I just got back from swimming with humpback whales, and I really needed to remember like wonder and magic and awe and joy, because there are people having sex with children in the Epstein files and all the stuff in the news that we're crashing out on. And there's magic and awe and wonder, and life is full of duality, and remembering those two pieces as much as we can, and accessing, especially like Ken, for you, being able to access moments of wonder and awe and joy as well, I think are really, really important when we have had experiences of trauma in those pieces. So I'm talking a lot. How are you feeling and doing?
I was going to say two things, then maybe we could move on.
Yep.
One is I figure I can, if you don't mind, I can email you after to check in on resources and
Yep.
follow up
We
through
can.
your website. And
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put my email in the chat box. Happy
Yeah,
to
so
do
I can.
so.
And the other thing I would say, there are people here on this call who've known me for many years, and I'm 67, so I've survived and thrived a lot. So I mean, I have 65 years since this incident I wrote about. So there's a lot of positive, I said the writing didn't have a happy ending, but
Right.
people
Yeah.
who know me can reflect back, and I can reflect back that 65 years later, there's been a lot of happy endings along that I've achieved.
Totally. I would be a sociopath though if I didn't show some empathy and
Yeah.
compassion and take a moment because I'm just meeting you. So, but
Right.
yes, thank you for sharing that. Yes. And yeah, and I'm just like, I just hate when the people that are meant to keep us safe in this world are the very ones that do harm. So, thank you for your courage to share that with me and with us, and we can totally move on. Thanks for being in the hot seat with me and letting me
Yeah. And
Louise
just to
Hay.
clarify, you don't mind me following up with you by email just
Nope,
to
not at all.
check in
Happy
on
to.
resources and
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. I lost somebody in my life to suicide many years ago, and I karmically and energetically ran as the person that I always recommend for people because she's really, really incredible. And the other last thing I want to say, Ken, and we will move on, we can even unpin you if you want, is that I believe that all of what we are as humans, if you think of the infinity sign, it's like we have shadow and we have light. And I think part of our journey is just coming into our shadow and transforming and pulling it over into our light, coming back into our shadow, transforming it into our light. So we all have shadow and we all have light. And it's just this ongoing journey of healing and transforming those pieces. So thanks, Ken. Appreciate your courage. Sorry if we went a little too far, too long, but in a world of people who don't care enough, I know the title of my book might give you the concept that I don't care, but I give all the fucks in the world. I can't go on vacation without saving a street dog. So, um, truly, they really look at the right gringo when I'm there. I've saved a lot. El Salvador, I think was the last, and no, Greece. Saved a street dog in Greece. I'm a firefighter as well. Firefighter of the dogs. Okay. Angela wanted to read. Anybody else also want to read? And also just taking a breath. So there is something called like secondary trauma. So when we hear trauma, when we hear a story as a coach or a psychologist or somebody shares it, there's a part of you that then has that piece. So just like taking a breath, if you feel like any energy or emotion, I think we're all aware that this, like right now with everything going on in the world, I think that like, I mean, I just got like a degree in child trafficking that I didn't ask for. I don't know if anyone else also got that this past year. So I think that talking about these things are important, and then also just like taking a breath and calling that what it is, and that if you feel dysregulated or any stress in your body or anxious, just knowing that like that's the cost of secondary being hearing things like that we're being exposed to in the world, not just in this poetry workshop. Psychologists call it like a secondary trauma, like you're able to hear it. And yeah, so anyways, that being said, let's bring forward Angelo.
Okay. This is a very interesting, kind of very intimate space here. And, I want to honor that. And my little thing is probably not, it's hard to compare these kind of things, but in any event, it's of a different order. And I know that I can't read my writing after I've written, like, what do they call it? It used to be called script. We called it
Yeah.
when we were in school. I went to Catholic high school. They're trying to, we're writing cursive, the
Person.
Palmer method, right? That never worked for me. So I'm a thoroughly modern person, and then I generally type when I do anything like that. So I know that I can't read all this. So I'm going to do what I did back in the old days when I was much younger. I used to do a lot of improvisational poetry with people like Jackie McLean, who none of you have probably heard of, but he was a famous jazz guy. So it's going to be something like this. I'll read a little bit, and then I'll just kind of like, just see what happens. So I'm sitting in this Japanese dojo, all these people from all over the world. At first, our faces are full of curiosity about each other, hearing the new stories, sharing the excitement of being in this new place. And then all of a sudden, it happened gradually. Perhaps because we were in this foreign environment for the first time and we're eating very little, just some rice, some porridge, some miso soup, and some tea. All of a sudden, quite suddenly, people started getting sick, one after the other, always the same symptoms. It's called constipation. Basically, it was a difficulty of taking things in and letting them out and needing to keep it them and having it held. And me, I felt kind of like a prince or something because I didn't feel so bad. I said, what's wrong with all these people? You know, why are they all of a sudden getting so sick? What is their problem? So I'm walking around feeling quite proud of myself and entitled. When all of a sudden, the same sickness that had infected them infected me. And I wasn't feeling so great. I wasn't feeling so great. I was feeling quite alone, all alone in this foreign place where I had done so much sacrifice to get there, selling my car, asking people for money. Here I am all alone in this foreign place where many people don't even share the same language. All of this came crushing down on me, and I felt quite alone. And I did what I've never done before. I found a corner alone, and I crawled into it in a kind of fetal position and just rocked and rocked and rocked and rocked. And this went on for a while, and all of a sudden, something quite magical happened. A woman came up to me, another woman came up to me, and all of a sudden, I wasn't alone. They didn't talk much. They mostly said, "How are you? It's going to be okay." Soothing voices like this. And then, out of the corner of my eye, one of the teachers approached, and he said, "Wow, look at all the power that you have. Look at what you've done. You've attracted all this beauty to heal you. A white woman, an Asian woman surrounding you in your power." And all of a sudden, actually, it wasn't all of a sudden, it took a while for things to calm down and to me to feel not so alone, not to feel special, not to feel entitled, not to feel sick, but just like everybody else. That's it.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Good. All these different flavors of gelato.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angelo. Does anybody else want to share? We might have room for one more.
Ski and who she's with said in the chat that they share.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you, Angelo.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Angela, and thank you for everyone that's sharing and host and everything, and Ian for like bringing us all, or bringing at least us together. I don't know. I gotta just get this off and like whatever. I've probably written this probably so many times already, but it's just that, oh gosh.
Do you want me to come back, or you want to be?
Unless it's on, like, no, because I might cry.
No, we can bring me back. We can bring. You want to look at me? So you can,
I don't know. I don't.
let's bring me back, Ian. So she. I don't know. I feel like she liked that. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Because I'm using a phone, not a laptop, so it's like I don't know. But okay, let's just hold on, time out, because now I'm like anxious.
Let's take a minute. Let's take a minute. Hold on. Is your name Ski?
No, it's just a nickname.
A nickname?
Like he's from Philly too, so we're good.
Okay.
Anyway,
So
okay, so and I didn't share this with him either, but he's aware of it. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Whew. All right, so oh my gosh. All right, this is I always get afraid to share.
that's normal. It's very normal.
What did you call chicken shit? I call myself chicken
Well,
shit.
it's also it's two things. Like we don't live in a world that appreciates truth or depth, and also isolating yourself from the other animals of the animal kingdom usually meant being eaten. So there's a
Yeah,
degree of
it's
coming
weak.
forward,
Yep.
being like you're the impala. So that said, would it, so sometimes when people feel scared, my invitation will be that everybody else closes their eyes and just listens. So just as an invitation, if any part of you would feel more comfortable to take your glasses off, if we close our eyes, we can go into the dark, or we can keep our eyes open with you, and just wanted to put that invitation.
We're in the light. And your prompt was great, and I'm relating it to like the time of year that it is. But that's what we made a joke with each other, because I have a standing desk that like I was thinking of, like we could make a funny joke of like that's another time that you're on your knees, like because it's a mechanical one. But in that moment, I was thinking of this. So okay. No, I feel comfortable. It's a good safe space. All right, cool. So I might say this all weird. Just bear with me, fam. It was this time of year 3 years ago, or actually, I don't even remember the exact date anymore. The pain is still the same. Today and this weekend have always been a sign of summer and a way to treat myself to some sort of experience and reward myself for the hard work put throughout the long winter. I hate the cold, and rainy springs. We planned a weekend to get you to experience where I grew up, meet my parents, see Philly the way I remembered it. Well, that didn't happen. And we pivoted, like we know how to do. However, we both wanted to be outside in big letters. Enjoy a day by some water and eat some good ass food. Treat ourselves! Exclamation point. That day wasn't at the beach, but it was perfect to me. Seeing everyone enjoying themselves, and genuinely happy and safe. Pina too, and that's my dog, the one that has been being a pain in the ass, but now she's resting. That wasn't part of it. Uh, it allowed my eyes to sit and rest for a moment and take in the sun. Peace. Then you were gone. A blink of an eye is something a lot of elders taught me and had experienced already, but why that day? Why you? And then it's just, I'll miss you and love you always, and I'll meet you on our island in the sun. I'm sorry. I have to remove myself because it's hard to share that. Just for a moment. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, because I hate crying in front of people.
Yeah, we're actually
cry baby, guys. Like, I'm sorry.
okay.
And we got
it's
but that's all. Whew. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing.
Whew.
Yeah. Just want to invite you too, if you want to take, sometimes we like, this can be a nice grounding thing. If you just put a hand on your belly, and you might already know this, I feel like you know about breathing into your belly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that will help to access your resting nervous system. So whenever there's a lot of emotion moving, I always put a hand on my belly and breathe.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking through and sharing that. Yeah.
It's a hard one, but we're we're gonna light some incense and like it'll be chilling. Like it's just like a peace offering. Like I miss my best friend. That's it.
And it happened on like Memorial Day too.
That's what, yeah.
Sorry, could we repeat that? Sorry, what did you say?
Like,
yeah, again.
like the accident she experienced a few years ago was like, it was on Memorial Day. It was like resonating.
Yeah. So, and that experience brought me to my knees. It was terrifying, you know? So, and there's still, I don't know, hearing about like suicide stuff, which like, I would like to grab your email too, just to reach out. I'm still afraid of like, if it was suicide or if it was like an accident, you know, like that it's still there. And I'm sorry guys if this is too much, you know, it's
all good. I'm facilitating, so if it's too much, I'll tell you. You can share it. Not too much. Yeah.
It's just I haven't gotten the closure that I need to with that yet, you know, because it was just a weird thing. Like he was a swimmer, he was a Marine, and he had a lot of his troop that had like passed and stuff like that. So it's just I don't know.
You never got the full answer.
I dove in afterwards with him and stuff, and like my dog was there and stuff. So it just every time this year I'm just like let's go to some water and listen to the waves, like, and just be. So like I appreciate you sharing your story with the humpback whales, because how scary was that? You're probably this big, like, compared to that.
Did you just say that you jumped in after him, like you were actually there when it happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And there was a point where, and I didn't get to like write that in the poetry part of it, but there was just a point where, like, you know, I jumped in after, he's not there, we get back to land, and just, you know, hours of just them like searching for his body. I'm like, I was to my knees, like, just like, please, just like, please, like, come back, like, come home, like, let's go, we're supposed to go fucking home, you know, excuse my language. But
was this a partner of yours
at the time? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Daniel was also somebody I thought was going to be a life partner. So we were not together at the time, but I was supporting him the week before he committed suicide. And it's really hard. Death can feel like an abandonment. When you were reading your poem, that was the word I kept hearing, was just abandonment, abandonment, abandonment. And it doesn't really matter how someone dies. We feel abandoned by their physical presence and also this world. And it's so hard when we're left with that question mark of like, well, what was it? You know, did you choose to leave? Did an accident happen? And something that I was not open to in the beginning, but that I've open to is like I had a medium come up to me at the funeral being like, I have a message. I was like, get the fuck away from me. Like at first I was like, absolutely not. And then after some time felt open, and there's a woman called Lynn Austin who I have connected and spoken to Daniel with a couple of times, who was really helpful in my journey because I was supporting Daniel. He wasn't honest with me that he was suicidal, but intuitively I picked up on it a little bit, and I felt that bargaining and that grief of, you know, could I have done more? Could I have kept him alive? Could I have, and having conversations with, and truly, like, I think that some psychic mediums are kooky, and I think that some of them are real, and it's like, so she's a really great one, and
really.
My sister, she just had like a psychic party for like, and she's done it like 3 times, but she really enjoys like trying different mediums, and like just like the event of it, it's like nice, and she can be like, she can reminisce about like whether it be like a grandmother or be other people in her life. She had a friend who was an officer who was killed by another officer who was showing them how to properly clean a gun.
What?
And, but she like but she was really close to him. She was
No, that's
Yeah.
just
Oh my gosh, there's so much there. Well, I appreciate what I'm going to do right now as well. I'm going to put in Lynn Austin's, if I can find her website right now. She is, yeah, she's really amazing. She has about a year wait list, and I don't think it's cheap. It's really not cheap because she's been doing it a long time, but she's a true, like, I feel like resources in this world um, are just so fucking hard to find a good one. So whenever I have a good one, I'm like, hey, this is a really good one. When I first started to talk to her, she started to list off the names of Daniel's family members before he came through. And I was like, what is she saying? And then they were like extended family members. So I think she's a real one. I'm also going to put Rayanne Woodshat's, I don't know, Ian, if we could grab these from the chat box for the replay as well. But Rayanne Woodshat, she's a hypnotherapist and a shamanic coach. She has been when Daniel committed suicide as well, she was who I went to process my grief, because I'm basically a firefighter. Like, I'm always late because I'm saving a seal. I'm a surfer. I'll be in the ocean and end up saving things. And
just
it was like, huh?
I said
Yeah.
always late. Like,
Yeah, always. So when you go through things where you lose people, it can be like, can I have done more? Could I have? That's a part of grief. So, well, Ski, thank you so much for. I'll put these resources in the chat box. We can put them in the replay email. And thank you so much. And did you say you both wanted to read a poem, or was there just?
I can read mine, and it's, might be all right, because it's like I kind of didn't like, mine's like a lot lighter, so maybe it'll lighten the mood.
We're at the bottom of the ocean today, and that's okay. Everybody else lives surface there. Angela, are you okay if we go a bit over? I'm okay to go like.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just want to tell people if they need to leave, you should, you know, just say goodbye in the chat, and
respect your
the rest
time.
of us will stay on as we wish.
All right, I'll just have that. It's pretty short. Looking back, there's a lot of beauty. Life holds many exciting moments, and it's not all at once, and spaced with twists and turns. Through trial and effort, fixated on movements for years, I blinded myself to the beauty that always surrounds us. The endless summer blooms, the variety in creatures. In a way, it's simple, a new chapter that I enjoy, blending through a new loving hobby I wouldn't have without you. And it's kind of like basically just appreciating someone that's still in my life that opened my eyes to like nature more. And it helps me through darker times, or like everything. I think it's something that's always there, and it can be related to anything. And I guess like it's kind of more like a praise, and brought to my knees and had like joy for a great.
Oh, yeah.
Good
reverence.
Good
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. We can be brought to our knees in joy. Here I am just thinking that it always has to be the darkness, but you're right. What a beautiful poem to end on. Thank you can you tell me your name one more time?
Michael Costello.
Michael.
Costello.
Is that Italian?
No, it's Irish.
Cool. Very cool. Well, thank you guys both so much for coming forward. And yeah, I'm going to take a moment for us. We're going to just take a little second. Angela, I'm not sure how you usually close out, but I want to just have us close our eyes for we can talk a minute about if you guys want to connect with me and all those things, but I just want to take a moment to just close your eyes and
You're cold.
lots of depth, lots of different threads of stories, and just taking a moment to actually, I want you to kind of envision that you're underneath, and I'm actually going to recommend that we go under some water later today, like actually have a shower, have a bath. If there's a body of water, like a river, an ocean, a lake. I think that water is, I had a teacher I worked with for many years that said water is how we rinse our energy. So whenever we swim to these places of depth, with ourselves and others, it's nice to rinse quite physically with water. But right now, I want you to kind of envision almost like a waterfall, like a nice, gentle waterfall, just falling onto your head and over your shoulders and your body. And just washing any tension, anything in your body that's flowing around. Sometimes there's things that belong to us or other people that we can take on if we're empathetic. And just letting all of it go and flow into the ground over your body. And just taking a moment and putting maybe one hand on your heart and your belly and just um, everybody here held some space today. So just taking a little moment to both appreciate the people who had the courage to share maybe the most honest poems. So I'm grateful. I don't think anyone's ever brought that honest of a poem to me. It's probably because I'm doing these at corporate retreats. But just courage, so much courage, and just real gratitude. And just if you did share, thank you for your courage. And to everybody else, thank you for holding the space and listening and letting people bring forward different parts of themselves that you don't usually hear at a dinner conversation. And let's take some big breaths in and out. So taking a deep breath in and out through your mouth. Another deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. And just letting everything settle. And in a moment, we're going to gently open our eyes, but if your eyes are closed. But when you do, I want to give you the invitation to not look at your screen and to just choose an object in the room. We're going to titrate out of this. So opening your eyes, choosing a plant or a book, something in your space. And just focusing on the textures, the colors, how the light hits it. And choosing a second object, and again, just noticing the edges, little details, sometimes being present to that thing for the first time in your whole life. And coming back to the screen. And I really mean that. You guys brought it. Those were the most honest poems I've ever received in this workshop. So thanks for your honesty and your truth and taking us to the bottom of the ocean. I'm not sure what flavors of gelato usually happen in this Sacred Inclusion Network, but I really liked that. Stories are really meant to connect us back to ourselves again, and I think that oftentimes when we have the ability to be honest, it makes everybody else feel less alone who might have experienced a similar piece. Like, for instance, I've also lost somebody, different pieces, but we're often not so far apart in our threads of experience in this life, and moments like this kind of show that piece. So thank you. And for any of you that want to connect with me, I'll send Angelo my website, my email. Those links will get over to everybody as well as resources. I have 2 books. I coach people. I do one-on-one, and right now I'm not enrolling for any programs like groups. I am taking people to swim with humpback whales in 2027 in Tonga. I actually just released the retreat yesterday because I've been doing personal development for 12 years, and I think there's a type of healing that happens in talking and sharing and connecting. And I think there's a different type of healing to have these moments of wonder and awe with a 60,000-pound mama humpback whale in the ocean, and having this intimacy with animals and turning our phones off for a week. There'll be an invitation to unplug because Tonga is on the edge of the world. There's like a little charter plane, and it's a 9-day, 8-night experience. It's a very regulated experience. Only 4 people will be allowed in the water at a time with the whales. You're not swimming with 150 people with a whale shark eating plastic in the Maldives. That is not what this is. I'm quite excited. I have a British shark ecologist and professional freediver who's my guide supporting me in this. And the reason we're going is her relationships. And she's also going to do introduction to freediving courses, and she's had 80 and 83-year-olds come on this adventure as well. So you have to have some swimming experience. You don't need to be scuba certified. And if any of you want to come hang with me, that's the way I'm giving myself right now. So on that note, I'll send over the whale link, my website, the email. We also have early bird on. So this week, I think Friday, early bird, I don't know what day it is. It's Monday. We just went live. So I think, wait, was it Saturday? Yeah, I went live, I think yesterday. It's Saturday today. I think all of my emails are wrong that I just wrote. But early bird is a week, and there's like $1,000 off. So it's if you do want to come, go look at the website. Angelo, thanks for bringing me in. This was real.
Thank you, Jonah. Thank you for hosting us and being real. If it wasn't for you, I don't think this level of intimacy and honesty would emerge. So thank you so much. And yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and everybody really go take go get in the water today. So it can be a shower, an Epsom salt bath, ideally a lake, a river, an ocean, but rinsing our energy with water is there's like a real healing piece to that. So I had a healer for many days that was like, every morning and every night, you got to rinse your dreams off of your body, and you got to rinse your day off with some water. So whenever there's deep emotions, to the water with yourselves. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciated this experience. It was deep in a way that a poet loves. So thank you very much. And if you want to come into my world and stay in touch, I'm going to continue to exist after this call and would be honored to do that. And yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you so much. Bye.